That's what Adam is called upon by God to do in the story of Adam and Eve, to subdue the world, subdue everything in its proper place so that the whole structure operates in a harmonious manner. It's a much more expanded view of what constitutes mental health. Anyways, education should serve that, right? And so if you take the staff of Moses, it's planted in a single place. The community grows around that. That's the same as the magic wand of Gandalf, that idea of a magic wand. It's the traditional ethos associated with transformation and sacrifice around which communities aggregate themselves. And a proper humanities and religious education inculcates that center structure so that knowledge can be organized around it. The last time we talked, I suggested to you that we see the world through a biblical lens. Literally see it. I mean literally. It structures our perceptions. And I've investigated that far more deeply. And what seems to be the case with a corpus of stories like the biblical library is that if you know the stories, it structures your psyche so that you have a place to put information. And so that enables you to understand the current world and everything that's happening, but to place everything in the right context. And so the transmission of an unbroken cultural edifice, story-based edifice, is the manner in which you solve the alignment problem, unite your society, integrate your psyche, pursue what's meaningful, and protect yourself from chaos and anxiety. So, a solid education has been the traditional way of ensuring that that occurs. And so, well, that's what we hope we can offer with Peterson Academy. That's the purpose of my books as well, to elucidate that. And so, can the universities do that? I don't think so.
I don't know if they have that philosophy. The philosophy and the way you're laying it out resonates with me. I think it's accurate. I think it when I'm in harmony in my life, that it all seems to make sense. It all works together. What you're saying, it just rings true. I don't know if they're so infected with this ideology that flies in the face. They've rejected it wholeheartedly.
Yes. Look, the premise of the postmodernists is that there's no uniting meta-narrative. If you had to define postmodernism in one phrase, that would be it. And so what have they done? Here's the association with Marxism. Okay, so the Marxists have a counter-narrative. It's the narrative of power. And it is a very powerful counter-narrative, because if you don't put the proper uniting principle at the pinnacle, its power emerges immediately, because people play power games, and you can attain a certain degree of success and a fair amount of domination by playing a power game. And so Marx observed that one of the cardinal power games is economic. And it is probably the cardinal power game, right? There's economic disparity. Those at the top do take advantage of their position at the top to stabilize their position. Like in a functional society, productive people are at the top. But even among those at the top, there's still power-seeking crooks. And so now Marx, of course, would say that, well, everyone who's economically successful is a power-seeking crook. And, you know, that's a great thing to believe if you're a resentful Satanist like Marx.
Well, it's how the losers look at the world.
Well, that's for sure. But there is some justification in it, because among the successful there are...
Yes.
Right, okay.
And a large percentage, because that's the culture in which they're existing.
Yeah, well, a dangerous percentage.
Yes.
And a critique of power is always a valid critique. Okay, so what the postmodernists did when Marxism became ethically unacceptable, and that happened in the 1970s, is they metastasized it. They said, okay, we've got a victim-victimizer narrative that's played out in the economic sphere, and that's basically Marxism. We'll just multiply that until the same interpretive framework can be applied to all possible group distinctions. That's basically intersectionality. So sex is a oppressor versus oppressed narrative. Gender is an oppressed versus oppressor narrative. Ethnicity, race, ability, attractiveness, height. Any qualitative distinction is now recast as a battle between oppressor and oppressed. It's an unbelievably brutal story. It's basically equivalent to the claim that the spirit of power is the ruler of the cosmos.